welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. January has come and gone, and it looks like Clown World is here to stay. So let's dive right into the rabbit hole with this podcast. Enjoy.
Hey, Rich.
Gary, are you on your way back yet?
Just rolling, sitting in Tacoma traffic. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, $1 short, day late. So, how you doing? Have you seen any Canadian truckers out there?
I wish I could go a little bit further north.
I'm happy that the media is finally showing us what's happening. And, God bless the Canadian truckers for what they're standing up for. The people as well. My goodness.
Well, it is, and I've also heard all the misinformation come out. They're accusing these Canadians of being violent rioters. And I'm like, what? The Canadians are some of the most passive people around.
Yeah, this is some of the nicest protesting I've seen in a long time. Did you hear what Trudeau? Did you hear what Trudeau said about the?
Yes.
Small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country. I
think I got a big dose of estrogen when he was talking.
Oh, that guy's I don't understand.
He sounded like such a wimp, making up nothing. Everything that came out of his mouth was a lie.
If they have Democrats, he's definitely a Democrat up there. I know he's not, but he's definitely on the left, and he's not human. And what he's doing to the Canadians, that's ridiculous. And they know. That's why they're supporting it. When you see everybody standing outside, freezing cold, still...
Yeah, this is the middle and coldest month of the year for them Canadians.
They're protests. The narrative's over. The rest of the world is waking up. And I can't believe they continue to do these type of things.
Well, you're right, but I can't believe that if anybody hasn't woken up to this by now... I'm just, flabbergasted. I can't even, see what's going on.
Right. Well, again, the media is being very manipulative. Here they are trying to show us what they want to show. But apparently, like I said, the Canadians, some of the nicest people in the world, standing up for their rights. Even all the pictures I've seen, they're not looting, they're not burning anything.
This started with vaccine mandates, but for most here, it's about a lot more. Well over 1,000 people lining the Trans-Canada Highway outside of Winnipeg in -30 wind chills, protesting what they call government overreach. It all started a couple days ago in Delta, BC. Truckers protesting vaccine mandates at the border. Now as the convoy logs more kilometers, it's getting more support.
You said it's important for the government to hear. You said it's crucial that you listen to the people. Listen to this, Mr. Trudeau. Listen to it. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
This is how you're supposed to do it. They're letting their voice be heard, and I stand with them, and I know the rest of the world stands with them. I've even heard that I guess now some American truckers are going to join at the border as well on our side.
I did hear that, and all these truckers, they're not funded by nonprofits. They're doing this on their own dime.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. They're independent truckers. This is...
I was thinking, oh, gosh, what if they work for, let's just, name a big U.S. trucking company, Swift. And now the cancel culture starts to go after Swift. And we saw all these Swift trucks there. Swift bad. They always still find ways to attack any of these truckers in Canada if they're working for large trucking companies. I'm just guessing this now, you know what I'm saying? Because they always look for someone to attack, cancel them out. But you said it, a lot of them are independents.
They are. Most of them, I think a majority of them are independents. What's nice is that you're seeing solidarity between regular truckers and the citizens because they're definitely supporting it. It's not just like there's a bunch of trucks sitting there with the horns and nothing happening. I mean, there's a lot of people outside participating and very much showing support. So I heard something about that over $6 million was raised on GoFundMe. And
Yep.
That's the next thing, is because we know the vaccinations and the mask mandates and all the other stuff was ridiculous. And now they're still trying to do their last hurrah. It just amazes me that they're still clutching at straws, so to speak.
Well, I get a kick out of how did they have the Omicron booster ready when it popped out of nowhere? How could they have developed it already?
Well, from what I understand, it won't be ready until March, and I believe Omicron is over.
I know.
The stuff that they feed us, even look at poor Joe Rogan, and not even poor by any means. They're trying to make it sound like that he's hurt and all these people are going after him and against him, but he is the most listened to person probably in the world.
What is it, 50 million listeners?
There's something crazy like
subscribed?
That.
It's huge.
Compared to CNN's, 1,000 listeners.
Yeah. Well, I heard that all Joe Rogan did, he didn't capitulate and make some apology for having, Dr. Malone on and all this stuff and this whole Neil Young thing about Spotify. And that's what got Rogan in trouble. Neil Young and Joni Mitchell came out and said, they don't want Spotify to play their music. They're going to pull it all.
Right. And
because of Joe Rogan.
Right. And Spotify did pull them. The crazy thing is I've even heard things that, Joe Rogan came out and he apologized and this and that. And then I just saw something that was all false as well.
What he did is he says, I'm sorry that Neil Young's music can't be heard out there on Spotify. I grew up with the stuff. It was there everywhere, whatever. And he apologized. He's feeling like saying, I feel sorry for Neil Young now. That's where they turned it into just spun the whole apology.
I remember being in high school and listening to Neil Young and hearing his music and Joni Mitchell and whatnot. It's all right. Average music. It's no loss. If we don't have to hear from them again.
Well, Spotify ain't the only place you can get it. Well, that's the funny part.
I'd rather listen to Tom McDonald and Adam Calhoun. And even if they told me, hey, this vax mandate and et cetera is, bad and misinformation and I want to be taken off Spotify and all you other anti-vaxxers, well, good riddance to you guys, but they're not.
Have at it, yeah.
I mean, my point I'm trying to say is that I don't care if you sing, play the drums, bass, guitar, whatever. I listen to your music for relaxation or pure enjoyment of the music that is, produced by people. Again, going along with these athletes that tell me that I should, be oppressed and, should be... All this wokeism is crazy, and I don't listen to them. Same thing with actors. I go watch their movies. I enjoy the movies that are presented to me, and they have no bearing. I don't care what you think. You are not on the same level as 99% of every human on this planet because we all have to work, and you're in make-believe land making millions. Your life is nothing like ours whatsoever. So
they don't live in reality.
I don't listen to them. I like athletes. I like football players. I mean, it's great, but I haven't watched football in so long, it's ridiculous. I don't even know what's going on. More importantly is that these people and these teams that I like and cherish, I don't need it. I watch that for enjoyment, the rivalry and, the sports. And when they start being woke and doing all this crazy stuff, no basketball, forget that.
Oh, the NBA puts Black Lives Matter on in the center court. They labeled the floor all last year.
I used to listen to and watch NASCAR. I used to be a big fan of that, and don't need that anymore. I watch.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned football.
Well, I watch Cletus McFarland. That's my NASCAR. Local racing. Yeah, that's much better. Well, he's in Florida, so not really local, but you know what I mean. He's an amateur dude, and he's got millions too, so he's probably not amateur anymore.
No, that's right.
But he's not the NASCAR. He's not a racer. But he has people on. But you know what I mean. It's amazing how the people that we're watching on YouTube and listening to on Spotify, like Joe Rogan, how popular and how much more influence that I get from that than watching ABC or NBC. or, CBS for that matter. And, it's weird because you got Fox News. I see conflicting reports. Sometimes Fox is actually presenting actual news again. Take that with a grain of salt.
Thank God for Tucker. He slips in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson, and he's also getting slammed too. It's like he's just talking the truth, and they keep trying to tell us how bad it is, and I got to keep reminding myself that even what they're saying is not truthful. So,
of course.
It's just same with Joe Rogan. I mean, everybody's still listening to him. He might have lost maybe 2 listeners out of all this mess. Because the left wasn't listening to him anyway. But
well, I'd like to hear what he's going to say about that NFL game yesterday in L.A. and what's going to happen at the Super Bowl. The governor of California went down to that game last night. The mayor of San Francisco went down to L.A. They were playing in L.A. And they're all elated at their California teams hosting their own town for the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So they caught Gavin Newsom. He took Rob Lowe to the game. So he had a Hollywood, celebrity with him. And there were some pictures of Rob Lowe and Gavin Newsom, totally maskless among tens of thousands or, 100,000, whatever is in there. And L.A. Mayor Garcetti, no mask at the game, at the sport event. But, Omicron doesn't come into sporting events. It stays outside the stadium.
Well, yeah, because there's plexiglass surrounding it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the plexiglass has a lot to do with that. But
how do you think this Super Bowl, where everybody goes to show up and in L.A. and all these mandates in L.A., they're all going to be busted violating their own mandates. That's trying to get at. Gavin Newsom didn't even wear a mask in the stadium.
The only thing that I actually heard about the NFL and the Super Bowl is that how the city started cleaning up the homeless around the area to make them look a lot better, because they can't have these people crapping in front of everybody while, thousands of people coming in and enjoying Super Bowl. Ever since whatever happened to the Packers, so that didn't.
I know.
So I was like, well, I'm done. I don't need to watch
follow
anything.
my team. You're right. It's exactly right. I'm not too interested. I mean, I like to see an underdog like Cincinnati in there, and they got a 2-year quarterback, which is amazing. Second year in the league, he takes his team to the Super Bowl.
Again, I haven't really watched anything, and I was mildly curious when I heard that the Packers were in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers was doing so well. I was like, oh, this might be his, hurrah, get a Super Bowl, and he's probably done. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just that all the fanfare. Remember everything up to, Aaron Rodgers with the COVID and this and that and everything he was saying. But now that he's not in contention, well, we don't even talk about him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, move on. What's the next best thing to keep everybody all trolling and getting crazed?
Yeah.
And then it's back to old Mr. Trump. Old Donald J. Trump had a big old meeting with all his fellow constituents here in Texas, right? This past weekend?
Houston. Oh, yeah. There was a big one in Texas.
Oh, my goodness. And they got him all fired up. Everybody's fired up. He is unfit to be the president again because he mentioned that he might pardon some certain January 6th insurrectionists. And, oh, my God, everybody is freaking out all over again. It's unbelievable.
He knows how to push their buttons.
Oh, he pushes them hard, too. And
is that great? Yeah.
And the craziest thing is even that thing you sent me about how the world has succeeded in giving in to Trump.
They've all capitulated to him.
Goodness.
During his first 4 years of presidency, he won the world over.
Because he actually was doing stuff for people.
He demonstrated strength, which the U.S. represents.
And you have crazy stuff like Chicago and Portland and Seattle. It makes no sense. And, of course, spinning back around to the NFL in Los Angeles, California for that matter. Really,
yeah.
I mean, this is it's gone out of control. And right now everybody's living in a big bubble because I know before the pandemic, cities and states where, we got a deficit, we got things going on, and all of a sudden, no taxes. I mean, people not working and printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and they've been setting fire to everything, and all the vandalism and all the looting that's been going on. Somebody has to pay for it, and of course, it's regular folk.
Well, this is almost March is going to be 2 years.
It's just March.
Yes, next month.
February.
Okay, yeah, we're at the 2-year mark.
Yeah, 2 weeks to flatten
February
the curve.
2020. You're right. There's some psychological studies about how people will put up with so much. And I remember reading something. It came to like 18 to 24 months is about all people can take of certain, situations. We're at that. We're at our 24 months now. And they cannot take it any longer. Exactly.
And I see that. And that's at least from what I'm not getting from the media, but from all these alternate sources, how everybody is fed up. Everybody's done. Most people are coming to the realization that this was all some type of farce or government control pandemic, going back with the masks and with Dr. Fauci and all this craziness and the WHO.
They're handing out free masks. N95 they come out with now, the best mask, and they're just coming out with them now.
Oh, that's terrible.
They're passing them all out free.
And here's the big change. Everything needs to change. Like it's getting back with Trump. Everything, again, is, what was that thing they also brought up? What was the big victory that they just had that a certain state, Georgia, I believe it was, said that the mail-in votes are unconstitutional?
Yeah, it might have been Georgia. Yeah, they're leading the way in a lot of that 2020 election fraud.
I know it wasn't Wisconsin, but I know they're under the fire too, and Texas is doing some type of stuff. Gutfield, he's also been talking about that, and Russell Brand's been talking about it. I mean, it's crazy. It's
the election of 2020 is not over. No. Well, I ought to tell you, maybe you're going to think it's crazy, but there's called a manual. You could look this up. The Law of War. It's defense as a Law of War manual. We know, the military knows, that we were taken over on November 3rd of 2020 election by foreign enemies. China, Canada, Iran, Italy, England, they were all participants in this internal coup on America to seize our government. And the military has been in charge, and I think we're going to see tanks on the streets in our cities and choppers, and we're going to have some nationwide martial law coming up in February.
Wow, that's brave. Brazen, I should say, because that's nuts.
Where did that all come from, Gary? All of a sudden.
Yeah, Larry.
Yes.
Larry, where did that come from? Because that's intriguing. And I only say that some of the stuff is just far-fetched. And
no, the military's actually been in charge. We know that. Or we'd have looked weak as Biden to the whole world. And other countries and enemies move on others when they're weak. Right. And why haven't we leave our adversaries? Because they know. Remember that whole Milley thing?
Oh, General Milley?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, that was a joke when he called China and said, I got this under control, and overstepped his bounds as secretary. He's the Joint
Chief of Staff?
Yeah, I was thinking Secretary of Defense, but no, he's head of that guy. Yeah, no, I just wanted to blow you away with it. February is going to be the most craziest month.
Well, I hope so. I've been waiting 2 years for something drastic to happen, and as always, there's things that lead us to believe that we might be on the right track, and then we have these little setbacks, but I think we're finally over it because I believe the people are finally waking up and understanding that we want peace. We don't want any of this junk anymore. We're tired of it. We're free. We want to be free of all this tyranny and all this oppression that apparently everybody's trying to get into this country. And all of a sudden, borders mean something now. I mean, everything's flipping back. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. So when you say things like this come up, there's a good chance that this might happen, because the conspiracy theorists things been coming true a lot more than...
Yes. And you know, a astrologist and numerologist and the energies that are coming out there and having the Galactic Federation working with us. Look at the number 2. Wednesday is going to be 2-2-2-2. 2-2-22.
Yep, that's crazy
and
numbers.
Then on the 22nd of February, it's going to be 2-2-2-2.
Oh, 222. Wow.
Yeah, just think of those dates. This Wednesday is going to be loaded with 2s.
Crazy things happen, but see, I don't know about that, so I don't know if that's good
and we
for
got the Chinese New Year coming up.
Well, that just ended.
And they have 2 weeks of celebration in February. Fat Tuesday's coming up, right? Yeah. For 2 weeks. Well, it's generally a 2-week celebration. I mean, and we're not even going down to New Orleans.
Well, more and more people are having stuff to celebrate, and we'll
see how Mardi Gras goes this year.
We'll see what happens. But I want to say thank you to all the Canadians and the truckers and the media that's finally now letting us see and the correct, because just some of the stuff they're trying to say about these truckers and the people protesting, unbelievable. Most Americans that have a brain realize that we're with you, Canada. We're with the truckers. I'm sure we're going to start getting riled up when things do not change. There's a lot happening, and it's getting crazier. But like you said, February, here we go, folks.
Here we go. This is going to be a month to remember for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Well, my friend, you keep driving safe. I will talk to you soon. Keep looking for that elusive truth. Let them good vibrations happen.
That's it. You got it, Rich.
All right, my bud. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye.